now on Channel 3 and streaming on WFSP Plus. This is Eyewitness News at 4.
Ready for all the misinformation to be over. I'm ready for all the cat fighting to be over. I'm ready for all the name calling to be over. I'm ready for all that to be over.
I just want to encourage them to come out and vote. It gives you satisfaction that you did your part.
It is a busy election day. We're talking with voters who are casting their ballots across the state and staying on top of the issues popping up at the polls. Thank you for joining us for Eyewitness News at 4. I'm Kara Sundlin. Channel 3 is your election authority. We have team coverage with Eyewitness News reporters spread out all across our state, covering all the key local races that matter to you. Now, if you haven't voted, don't worry. Still plenty of time to get out there and do it. Take a look at the countdown. You got just over 4 hours until the polls close at 8 o'clock tonight. If you have not registered, every city and town offers same-day registration here in Connecticut. That is where you can register and vote in the same place. It's usually at your city or town hall. First up, our team coverage begins with keeping tabs on any problems we're hearing about at the polls. Channel 3 Eyewitness News reporter Amanda Callahan is joining us live at a polling place in South Windsor with an update on the issues that we've seen popping up throughout the day. Amanda?
Well, Kara, most of the issues that have been popping up are with those tabulators. Those are the machines that are actually counting the ballots. There was an issue here this morning at the Philip Smith Elementary School where the flash drive wasn't working, so they had to get a replacement machine, which they were able to get pretty quickly. People were only delayed about 15 minutes. Now everything is running smoothly here, but there was an issue reported in Torrington that was similar this afternoon. They had their machine go down for about an hour. Ballots were then put into an auxiliary box, which is on the side of the machine, and it was monitored by the moderator. Now, representatives from both political parties were present to oversee those ballots get fed into a replacement machine that was then brought in. The Torrington registrar said it didn't cause too big of a delay, and everything is also back up and running there, which is what voters here in South Windsor are saying about their experience as well.
It's pretty simple. I mean, there's not many, at least where we are, not too many lines or anything like that. Very smooth. Everyone's very helpful. So it's pretty easy.
There was also an issue in Ansonia earlier this morning. 2 ballots had to be rerun through the machine, but everything is all set there as well. But we are keeping you up to date on any polling problems. If you're experiencing those, you can submit those on our Channel 3 app. Live in South Windsor, Amanda Callahan, Channel 3 Eyewitness News.
All right, thanks, Amanda. And we've asked you to send us emails reporting any problems you might see at the polls. Our team coverage continues with investigative reporter Cassidy Williams. She has been combing through all the emails. And Cassidy, what can you tell us so far?
Well, the most common issue we are hearing about is problems with the tabulating machines. That's why Amanda Callahan is out looking into that. But here are some other reports we've received. In Glastonbury, someone wrote in saying that a man with a Trump t-shirt was not allowed to vote, and the man was upset, saying that's a violation of his First Amendment rights. I called the town registrar. I'm told the head moderator went to that polling place and explained to the man that state law says you can't wear anything with a candidate's name on it within 75 feet of a polling place. The man was asked to cover up and then was allowed to vote. We've also had several people reach out to us reporting issues in Middletown. One voter called in saying there was no parking at Wesley Middle School, causing voters to circle around and just leave. Another voter reached out to us saying her husband was having issues registering to vote at Middletown City Hall. I've called Middletown's registrar several times, left messages, but I have not heard back. As soon as we get an update on that situation, we'll bring it to you. You can also send in your tips on WFSB.com. Just click on the Problems at the Polls tab. Kara.
All right, great option for all of the people at home to get some answers. Thank you so much, Cassidy. Of course, there's a lot of attention on the presidential race, but the balance of power for Congress will also be decided in this election. Here in Connecticut, we have a hotly contested race that is the rematch in the 5th Congressional District. The 5th District covers a significant portion of our state, as you can see here. That includes a lot of Litchfield County, like Torrington and Goshen, along with New Britain, Avon, and Southbury. This race is a rematch between Representative Jahana Hayes and Republican George Logan. We have team coverage of the race following both of the candidates. We do want to begin with Channel 3's chief political reporter, Susan Raff, who has been following the Hayes campaign all day and is now joining us live at Crosby High School in Waterbury. Susan.
Kara, good afternoon. This is a hotly contested race, and it is one that the nation is also watching because this race could determine the power in the House of Representatives. As for Crosby High School, despite early voting, which was hugely popular in Connecticut, quite a few people decided to come to vote today. In fact, we were told that when the polls opened up early this morning, there was a long line of people waiting to get in here. We also caught up with Congresswoman Jahana Hayes today. She was voting in Wolcott. That's the town that she lives in. She was there early this morning. She tells us she's been spending these last few hours in this final stretch talking to voters, knocking on doors. We also asked her how she felt coming into this final few days and few hours. She tells us she feels very confident. She feels she's done a lot for the district, but she also feels that reproductive rights are a huge issue and an important issue, one that she feels will help her win tonight. We asked her why she did not take part in early voting. She told us that she wanted to come to the polls with her husband and do it in person.
I think people are excited and they're plugged in and they're paying attention. And even when we were on the phones yesterday, people who had thought of sitting it out are now, first of all, paying more attention and more inspired, but also looking at the momentum and the energy around them, their friends and neighbors coming out to vote and saying, hey, I want to vote too.
When we got here at 3:30, it was a little quiet. Now we're starting to see people come in. And again, what we're being told is that despite early voting, a lot of people are coming to the polls. And coming up on Eyewitness News at 5 and 6, you'll hear from voters. We ask them how they feel about the election and what they feel is important. As you know, George Logan is the Republican challenger who is now in a rematch with Jahana Hayes. And Matt McFarland has been with George Logan, and he is in Middlebury. Matt, what have you been learning today?
Hi there, Susan. Well, we're here at the Middlebury Community Center. Turnout very high, voter turnout very high. You can see sort of both sides, Republicans and Democrats. They're out here trying to meet with voters to persuade them, make any last-minute pitch to those who might be undecided. But as for George Logan, he was here about an hour ago for about a half hour, spending time with campaign volunteers and voters. The former two-term state senator, Logan came close to flipping the seat 2 years ago, losing to Hayes by just about 2,000 votes. As for this rematch, Logan says he's focused on fixing what he calls the failed policies of Washington, D.C. And during his campaign, his key issues have included inflation, jobs, and the southern border.
Folks are just excited. They're ready for a change. You know, this really is a campaign about whether you want more of the same or do you believe we need a new voice in Congress, and we're providing that alternative.
Now it's been a busy day for Logan making his way across the district, and we're going to have that part of the story coming up tonight on Eyewitness News at 5. Live with the mobile newsroom in Middlebury, Matt McFarland, Channel 3, Eyewitness News.
All right, Matt, and the combination of a polarizing presidential election and picture-perfect weather is certainly helping to bring out voters in record numbers. That's what's expected. Channel 3 Eyewitness News reporter Mark Robbins joins us from East Hartford live right now. Mark, is that city seeing a big turnout?
Absolutely, Kara. Very big turnout. I'm here in District 6 of East Hartford at the Goodwin School. And behind me, a steady stream of voters have been coming in all day. More than almost 900 early voters in this district, and at noon the numbers were just around 1,300. So expectations are that when the voting polls close here at about 8 o'clock, they might have about 3,000 votes in this district that has just over 4,000 registered voters. People who voted today had a variety of reasons why they decided Election Day was the time to cast the ballot.
Yes, I wanted to just wait to the last minute to make sure that this is the way I wanted to vote, and then also to provide information to others, that the knowledge that I have about the wars and stuff like that.
The holiday Halloween season was kind of just like up and about, so I was pretty preoccupied with my family, and my job allowed me to kind of go on break and just vote for today. So
I've always voted on the day of the election. I feel that there's an excitement here that you don't have when you're putting in a paper ballot, and so I enjoy it.
Yeah, the polls will, of course, close 8 o'clock tonight. Now, some of the ballots, all the ballots will be tabulated. Then some will be necessary to count them by hand because they had an overflow of early voting, and they had to go to some of the backup ballots, which don't match the machine, so they have to be counted by hand. So the results here in East Hartford and maybe some other towns around the state might take a little longer than typically. Reporting live here in East Hartford, Mark Robbins, Channel 3 Eyewitness News.
Mark, thanks. And we want to turn now to the all-important presidential race. Vice President Kamala Harris and former President Donald Trump have all but wrapped up their campaigns. At this hour, the latest CBS News poll shows both candidates are basically tied in 7 key battleground states. Trump cast his vote in Florida today while Harris mailed in her ballot. Neither are showing any signs of giving up hope for a White House win.
We ran a great campaign. I think it was maybe the best of the 3.
It is time for a new generation of leadership in America.
Now, Trump and his running mate, J.D. Vance, will ride out the night watching returns at Mar-a-Lago, while Harris and her VP pick, Tim Walz, will be at her alma mater, Howard University in Washington, D.C. We are your election authority. We'll be taking you live to all of those places and more. CBS News coverage kicks off at 7 p.m. Mark Zinni and Aaron Connolly will jump in twice an hour with election news right here from Connecticut. And you'll also see local and national results scrolling at the bottom of your screen. Now, once the polls close at 8 o'clock, I hope you'll join me for a live election special with Stephanie Simoni. We'll be taking a deep dive into races all around the state with analysis from our experts. And Stephanie Simoni is going to be debuting our new election technology to help us track the returns as they come in. Again, that's streaming for free from 8 to 11 on WFSB Plus, the app, and the Wax. Mark.
Well, yeah, Mark Dixon in for Mike Slifer, who has the day off. And temperatures today certainly overperforming, in fact, reaching record levels. We'll have much more on slim chances for rain over the next 7 days, but also some swings in temperature. That's all ahead in the First Alert 7-day.
Mark, thanks. And straight ahead on Eyewitness News at 4, we're just getting started as we're about to witness history, no matter who wins the White House. When we come back, we'll hear from an expert and how this race fits into our U.S. history.
Plus, our Election Day team coverage takes us to the 1st Congressional District. We hear from both candidates running for Congress coming up.